This is a Pokemon card. This is also a Pokemon card. And you've guessed it, this is also a Pokemon card. How's it going, everyone? My name is Jordan, and 2 months ago I decided to start an online Pokemon card business. So the reason for this was relatively simple. I wanted to combine my passion of Pokemon cards with starting a small business and combine that into one thing and seeing where it would take us. So if that sounds like something that's really interesting to you, feel free to keep watching and hopefully you guys enjoy the ride just as much as I have. So, as a little recap, step one was the first month of starting the business. Now, one of the things we figured out we wanted to do was, because I didn't understand what Whatnot was, that is a mouthful to say the least, I decided the best way to start would be to buy and sell singles, and that is what we did. We would look online, try and find bulk deals of cards that people were selling, and we would go through, buy them, and I would list them for a profit. And the goal was to start with a relatively small amount and build that up to a greater bit of capital that we could then invest into bigger and better potential plans going forward into the future. Now, to start doing this, what I did was go on a website by the name of Card Market, and I would try and find sellers who were selling relatively popular art rare cards for a lower price. I decided to look through a few different ones, and after a couple of days of searching, I decided to pull the trigger on one particular seller who had a bunch of different cards that were relatively well priced and I thought could sell relatively quickly. And then came the waiting game. We sat down and we waited for these cards to arrive, and in the meantime we kept trying to find sellers. Now, I realised quite quickly that this wasn't going to be as easy as it seemed. After they came in, we sold the first batch of cards, and whilst we made profit, it was slow. But we kept going, and for the first month and a half we kept buying, selling, listing, shipping cards, and that would kind of build up very slowly up until the current day that we have right now. Now, at this point in time, I realized that buying and selling cards was good, and it was building up a small amount of profit to where we are right now, where I can invest it into more cards, such as stuff like this, like a Bubble Mew, for example, if that even focuses. Hold it in front of my face. But I realized that we probably need to push it further. And so, you're watching it. The first thought was, how can I build an audience around this? Because if I have an audience, it might allow me to sell stuff a little bit easier. And also, it's a good excuse to have fun making content. It keeps my brain busy, and because I work as a full-time photographer and videographer, it was just an excuse to make something that I have full control over. So hence why we're here today. And then I started to look at other different things. And one of the things I've been spending the last few weeks doing research on was Whatnot. Now, Whatnot is a platform where people almost do lightning quick auctions. They buy stuff, they do box breaks, and if you've ever heard of the term rip and ship, that is something that predominantly happens on Whatnot. And whilst I didn't understand what this platform was for the first few months, I decided to sit down and do a bit of research as to how I could potentially utilize that going forward, and that leads us to today. One of the things I really want to try and do is play with the idea of selling single cards on a auction-based live stream type of thing. So I thought, let's combine our experience with selling singles with the rapid fireness of this live streamy type content of Whatnot to then hopefully get through a lot more singles quickly. So you'll have to excuse the messiness of this area, but one thing that I really want to try is moving all of this out the way and having just the background like so. And the goal is actually to try and create just a backdrop. And also, excuse how filthy this is. Oh my lord, this brings it out. The amount of times I've spilt stuff on this, that needs to be washed. But the goal is to create a backdrop, have the phone set up here, and then allow myself to quick fire bring in singles to then sell on the live stream at some point in the future. Now, one thing we've been working on was trying to find the singles, and I think that the one thing we wanted to do was potentially find a theme with that. So I picked up these. These are Japanese art rares, which you can pick up for a relatively good price, and decided to go around, try and bulk buy Japanese art rares to then quick fire through a kind of 30-minute to 1 hour stream to start off with. Now, today is Monday. I'm going to schedule my stream for Thursday, and we're going to see how that goes. When you're watching this, it'll probably have already happened, but I will leave my whatnot in the description below, and if you're interested, go check it out, because by all means, if we can grow that, even better. But also alongside this, I need to not forget the fact that prepping for this, we are still buying and selling, and ultimately still running the business with online sales through for our eBay store. That's something that we need to not forget about, but also spend the time prepping for whatnot, because I don't want to take a live stream. I don't want to do a live stream and then realize we don't have enough. But then also at the same time, I don't want to be disappointed. So we're going to set a few small goals for the live stream, and then we're going to hopefully then build that up as we go. And so with all this prep leads us to a few things that we need to do today. I have 2 orders that I need to ship out, and that is what I'm going to do now. And then we have just had a delivery come in that's at a collection point that I need to go pick up, and then I'm going to bring it back and I'm going to show you guys what we picked up to put up for sale, hopefully today or tomorrow. We're back, and after absolutely destroying a KFC for lunch, it's time to take a look through one of our latest pickups that we have here. Okay, so this seller was selling a bunch of Destined Rivals hits for, I will say, a very good price. So let's go talk through a few. So first off, we've got, if it's going to show, Ethan's Typhlosion. It is very clean, in all honesty. Oh wow, it is clean. We've got the Team Rocket's Houndoom. We've got the Gold Garchomp. And then also we've just got, I'll turn so you can see, a bunch of the other kind of ARs from the set. Relatively simple. So yeah, I think that's where we're going to wrap up the first video. In the next video, we're going to be going to do our first ever Whatnot stream that we're going to be prepping for. If you have enjoyed this, by all means, feel free to leave a comment below and let us know what you would like to see more of, whether that be the actual technical side of how we price stuff, how we list stuff. Do you want to see us push for a certain other thing? Let us know. I'm completely open to ideas. I'm just merely documenting the process and how I've found it so far, and if you need like a profit total, I'm happy to do so, and I can guide you as to what we've done with that. So yeah, without further ado, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.